Joyce versus Filip Hrgović took place at the Co-op. No, not the shop, the Co-op Arena, Manchester. Although some people say maybe this wouldn't have been a fight out of place in a Co-op store on Black Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another George Talks video, and today we will be reviewing the Filip Hrgović versus Joyce boxing match that happened last night, or as I'm recording this anyway. But first of all, I wanted to bring up this piece of comment literature. Charlie Levitt says that 0% wants to see this fight. What you on about? Actually, I'll have you know, I want to see this fight. So 0.1%. Get it right. Enough about Danny G and HS. That fight ain't happening, and it's not worth covering now, is it? I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. Anyway, onto a real fight. Onto a fight that did happen. Joyce and Filip Hrgović. Talking point, Joyce. So, Joyce, I've seen enough, man, I'm afraid. I'm just going to be completely real. Respect to Joyce. I have nothing, by the way, but respect to Joyce and everything that he's done. I respect anyone that gets in the ring, climbs through the ropes, and is willing to put their life on the line. However, ladies and gentlemen, Joyce, I just don't want to see it anymore, because you got to think about your health. Again, up to Joyce, isn't it? It ultimately, and if he wants to continue, no one can really stop him unless he, but obviously can't pass his medicals and things. But you just got to look at it from a point of how long is too long. And the thing is that what many of boxers struggle with is letting it go. And it's easier said than done, isn't it? You know, because you chase, it gives you purpose in life. You chase your dreams, you chase your realities, and you chase purpose in your life. And for it to suddenly be taken away, you're just left thinking, what do I want to do now? And I suppose with Joyce, he will be thinking that if he retires, and he said in a recent interview that he doesn't want to retire. But speaking of interviews, he's been slurring a lot more, and it's not nice to see. And when people say to Joe, I think it's best to retire, it's not a disrespect thing. It's not, oh, you're not entertaining enough, I don't want to see you fight. It's nothing to do with that. People don't want to see you get hurt, man. They don't want to see you get hurt. They don't want to see you take unnecessary punishment. It's unlikely he's going to get a title shot with the form that he's been on and the rankings that and etc. He's lost his last 3 fights. I think it's time. You got to know when it's over, and I believe it is, unfortunately. And I hate to say that, because I love Joe, but we've got to be real. We've got to be real. No one wants to see it anymore, because the amount of right hands he took in this fight was hard to watch. You know, you don't go in there to dance around and dance like fairies and, you know, do a Michael Jackson moonwalk. You get in there to fight. You get in there to take punches, give punishment. Ideally, you hit and you don't get hit. But we know that realistically, you're going to get hit at least a couple of times in a boxing match. Ideally, you don't want to. I mean, Floyd Mayweather would argue otherwise, but Floyd Mayweather did get hit. He got hit against Shane Mosley, if you remember. So, you know, yeah, even he was susceptible to getting, you know, rocked. So let's review the fight anyway. I've done enough of the Joyce stuff. So the fight started interesting. Straight away, Hrgović was looking to nail that straight right hand down the pipe like a piston. Joyce had his guard up and he was looking to parry the jab, and it wasn't effective because his reflexes just weren't there. Head movement, lack of head movement, lack of lateral movement there from Joe. His punches were slow. He did what he tried to do. He tried to pin Hrgović into the ropes at the beginnings of the fight. Throughout the fight, he tried to do that. It just wasn't as effective. His punches were slow and sloppy, unfortunately. Again, because he tried. And that's what I love about Joe. No matter who he's in there with, he gives 100%. And that's what you cannot take away from Joyce. But I just feel that enough's enough. Anyway, Filip Hrgović can put his combinations together. Jab, straight right hand down the pipe. He did take a couple of punches himself. He even got the same cut that keeps reappearing on his left eye. Hopefully Joe can reconsider and end on a high, because he did give a good, respectable performance. As much as I sit there and go, he shouldn't be in the ring anymore, you know, you can see this fighting spirits in there. He's a warrior. He's a warrior. I wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley. Doesn't matter how slow Joe gets. You just know he's going to put on a show and put me on my ass. But, yeah. I'm just putting that out there. I'm not saying, oh, it's so slow I could... Oh, man, he beat the absolute living shit out of me. But, I'd be like, yeah, Joyce, I'm done. I'm done. So many avenues that you could take after boxing for Joe, but it's just about him being happy. But hopefully he can find something that makes him happy out of the ring, because I think time is not on Joe's side at 39. Anyway, Filip Hrgović, great win for him. You know, put his combinations together. Was really nice to see. Of course, I was rooting for Joe, but I was happy to see Filip gain some confidence after the Daniel Dubois fight, because he was probably a bit dubious getting in the ring, but all those dubious memories of Dubois seemed to fade when he put former Dubois conqueror Joe Joyce to the sword. And, you know, respect to Filip Hrgović. Hopefully he can get back on the horse. He's 32, isn't he? He's got a bit of time. He showed enough in there to tell me that he's got maybe 1 or 2 fights left in him. The work rate's never been the highest from Filip Hrgović in previous fights, but he showed some decent work rate in there, to be fair. And, you know, he's got power. Yeah, he's a tough cookie. You know, he's a tough man, and I respect both fighters. I respect anyone that gets in the ring. You know, I really do. It takes a lot of blood, sweat and tears and guts. You really have to be certain when you're in a boxing ring, otherwise you're putting your life on the line, aren't you? Anyway, so yeah, good to see Filip Hrgović progress, and hopefully Joe can think about it. Hopefully he does make the right decision, whatever is best for him. Moving on. Couple of fights in the loom. Speaking of Derek Chisora, he's had a lot of people tell him to call it quits, but he's now got a title shot against Daniel Dubois. I believe this is official, so don't shoot me. If so, yeah, Daniel Dubois versus Derek Chisora. Chisora now is coming into his 50th fight. He says this is going to be his last fight, and I think he's right to end it on a title fight. He's done so much for British boxing. You know, I really hope that Chisora wins. Not because, you know, I have anything against Dubois. I just really want to see Chisora, you know, finally do it. It's like Frank Bruno, Wembley, September 1995. Frank Bruno stepped in the ring against Oliver McCall. The whole nation was behind Big Frank, and Frank was able to do the business against Oliver McCall. You know, he was gassing out in the later rounds, but he showed the resilience, finally overcame the barriers, lack of stamina towards the later rounds, and he finally overcame the barriers, and it was an inspirational moment. Frank finally did it, and I really hope we see that moment with Chisora. And Chisora, man, he was good against Wallin. You know, people might say, oh, you know, Wallin's not been the same since Fury fight. There's truth to that, 110%. But I also think that Chisora went up a level, and people were soon saying, he's got a bit left in him, which he has. In that fight, that showed me he had a bit left in him. Not a lot. Don't get me wrong. After this fight, he should call it quits for his help and everything. But I just hope that Big Del Boy does it. I really do. I really do. People love Del Boy. They have a lot of respect for Del Boy. He's been in the ring with everybody. He's not scared of no one. And, you know, hopefully he can finally do it. He can finally win the heavyweight title of the world, because I love Del Boy. He lives his heart, blood, sweat and tears in the ring. I personally, obviously, stylistically, my favourite fighter is Usyk. Between Usyk or Fury, but my favourite fight I just love, and just definitely Del Boy. Just leaves it in the ring every time. He tries his best, and, you know, hopefully Del Boy can finally do it. Usyk Parker. Wonder what's going to happen now. Well, Usyk Parker is going to be an interesting fight. You know, both similar in a lot of ways. There's a few differences, strengths and weaknesses to both guys. I think there's less weaknesses with Usyk, of course. He is aging. You know, he is getting into his late 30s now, but, you know, at the end of the day, I really love Usyk's style. And I love Big Joe Parker's style. Both lovely men. Shout out also to Joyce, because he's a lovely man too. They're all good men, admirable men, you know. And yes, I really, really enjoy watching Parker and Usyk, and hopefully Parker gets this opportunity down the pipe, and it would be a big opportunity for him. I think he deserves it. He's one of the most informed heavyweights other than Usyk in there, and I think stylistically it's a compelling matchup, isn't it? Parker and Usyk. He could get in there in the ring with AJ as well. He could get in the ring with AJ and have a rematch. I just don't see any point with that. I think AJ is one fight done, really. He should basically get in the ring with Fury. Everyone wants to see that. Fury and AJ should just ash it out. I know that people might sit there and go, yeah, but the fight's lost. It has. It's lost interest, but it's a good retirement fight for both of them, a minute. You know what I mean? Like, I still believe Fury's second best in the division, but all these hiatuses are just, it's just not good. Both of them are at that age. End on a big payday, Wembley Stadium, generational fight, you know, that a Kelbuck, Amir Khan type of thing. End on a high. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my throat is going to give out more than my YouTube career giving Danny a compliment. Bloody hell, everyone's going to go, you gave Danny one compliment. I don't like you now. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to my video. Oh yes, before I go, subscribe to the Wee Weekly Free podcast channel if you want to hear more content just like this and other things involved in general discussion. We talk about everything between daily life, boxing, sports, even conspiracies, anything that you can expect from a podcast with interesting discussion you can expect on the Wee Weekly Free channel. So subscribe to it now for more content just like this and in vibrant and interesting guests. Hope that we get some interesting fights soon. And yeah, I'll cover Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. later on. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you all very soon. Thank you for support, by the way, for those that did enjoy. If you appreciated the presentation.